We just were able to accomplish something I've hoped we could accomplish for years, which is to expand the replay system.
We're trying to address the two fouls that most impact games, so forget the end of our game.
We had data that said these are the most impactful plays, and that's what replay was designed for.
Historically, as we all know, we've pushed back to expand it, but at the same time, you can't put your head in the sand.
So we definitely we were able to make sausage in one day, which is good for us.
Various voices and faces related to the expansion of replay for the purposes of offensive and defensive pass interference. And Rich McKay, who I respect, I admire, and I appreciate what he's done for the league. But one of the reasons they had to make sausage in one day, Chris, guys like Rich McKay were resisting making sausage until they realized they had no choice but to make sausage. If they had planned for this a little bit better, then quite possibly we wouldn't have to address the points we're going to be addressing soon because we'd already have answers to it. It feels like it was slapped together so quickly. A couple of nuances may have gotten overlooked.
Yeah, maybe, certainly. I mean, again, it's going to be trial by error. I don't think that's really going to be error, I should say. I think that's going to be the thing. We're going to kind of see this as the year plays out, whether it's fair or not. Hey, the first thing that I thought about, Mike, when I saw this, and I think you're kind of close on this, or it's on your radar as well, is pick plays, right? I thought actually that could be a good reason that this is this replay, the new way about it is there. Because I do wonder about, hey, pick plays have become such a big part of the NFL. It's cheap yardage for the offensive side of the ball. So many teams kind of cheat the rules. It's supposed to happen within 1 yard of the line of scrimmage. When I sit there and watch film, a lot of them happen at 2-3 yards down the field. So I think that's one thing that could favor the defense a little bit, which I like because the defense is already at a disadvantage at this day and age in the NFL. So that was the first thing that jumped out to me because
let me address that, because I want to make sure everybody understands what you're saying here. Pass interference can happen before the ball is thrown.
Yes.
Offensively. Defensively, it can't. Defensively, pass interference happens when the ball is in the air. So for replay review of defensive pass interference, the ball's got to be in the air. For offensive, and they didn't specify, and they didn't limit, and they didn't restrict. They just said offensive pass interference.
Right.
It can happen as written in the rule book before the ball is thrown if you have blocking more than 1 yard downfield. Within a yard, it's not offensive pass interference.
Yes.
Beyond a yard, it becomes a pick play. And the way it's set up, Chris, let me give you the example.
Sure.
Touchdown scored by the offense on a pass, right? Okay, and no push-off by the receiver in the end zone before he catches the ball, so no offensive pass interference. Well, hang on a second. We got to spin it back and see whether or not there was blocking more than 1 yard down the field before that ball was thrown. And if there was, and if there's indisputable visual evidence, clear and obvious evidence, whatever standard we want to apply, if 50 drunks in a bar would all say that guy was blocking the other guy more than a yard down the field, that's offensive pass interference.
Yes.
It's going to wipe the touchdown off the board, even if it wasn't seen in real time.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I like that aspect of it. Now, I don't want to get ticky-tacky there, though, with okay, it's supposed to happen within 1 yard of the line, 1 yard of the line of scrimmage. If it's a touchdown and it was, a yard and a half down the field, I hope that's not going to be overturned.
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
Here's the key, though.
Say it.
That's where we get back to the standard that applies to replay review.
Exactly.
What is Al Riveron, the senior VP of officiating, going to do when it's time to review pass interference? Whether it is a potential pick play, whether it is an uncatchable or catchable ball, which is part of this. There was no language in this new rule that says it only applies to whether or not there was contact with the receiver or contact by the receiver before the ball's thrown, while the ball's in the air, whatever the case may be. Catchable or uncatchable, one of the things, we always see the hand over the head.
Yeah,
That's one of the big arguments. It's not catchable. That's got to be part of this replay review now. Is there overwhelming evidence it was catchable? Is there overwhelming evidence it wasn't catchable? That's going to be another aspect of the balancing act Al Riveron has to do. And I'll tell you what, Chris, I said this earlier on the radio side. If I'm Al Riveron, first order of business today, I'm going in, I'm plopping my ass in the commissioner's desk, chair, or on his desk and saying, give me a raise. I want a raise because my job just got a hell of a lot harder.
That's a solid point, Mike. I agree because there's going to be a lot for him to look at. And again, you're right. It's just going to be a very fine line. I also think of instances like, hey, it's Jalen Ramsey and Odell Beckham Jr. running down the field, okay? And there's no pass interference called. Okay, but, hey, the the coach goes, man, it looked like there was a lot of hand fighting, and Jalen Ramsey might have pushed Odell Beckham Jr., just kind of as the ball was getting there. But earlier in the route, Odell Beckham Jr. was pushing Jalen Ramsey. How is that all going to get figured out? How is that going to get dictated through replay and all of that? Those are the little things that I'm interested to see play out in real time. When you go, okay, yeah, maybe there was a little pass interference by Jalen Ramsey as the ball was getting close. But damn, Odell Beckham Jr. did this at the 10-yard mark to get open and make it like that. So that's where I want to see how they juggle that.
You've just inadvertently made an excellent point.
I do this from time to time.
Can I make the point before the hard break, please? We may see an uptick in offsetting fouls for offensive and defensive pass interference, and you just do the play over again. That may be one of the unintended consequences of this.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.